What a week it has been. I don't know about you, but I needed a ride. A self isolating, social distancing ride. This week has been absolutely bonkers. From self quarantining, worrying about who's going to get the virus, to is the stock market going to crash? We're going to share all of the thoughts while we ride around Minnesota. This is hopefully a ride that you can enjoy to watch, hear some thoughts, and if you really don't want to listen to my voice, that's cool. Mute me and just watch a fun little ride through different terrains here in Minnesota, and it is actually a beautiful day. I mean, for Minnesotans it is, at least. It was 22 degrees. I think the weather said that it felt like it was 11 degrees, but nonetheless, it's a beautiful day. Also, I'd like to point out, in my self-quarantining, I spray painted the delete a gold, and I love it. It looks so good on that. Maybe leave a comment down below what you're doing in your self-quarantining. Are you getting in rides? Are you wrestling for toilet paper? Maybe you're doing what I'm doing, trying to, what can I do to my one wheel that is creative and fun? And so, I like that delete. If One Wheel was to drop a delete that was a metallic gold, I would buy that. Because, we're one fall away from that showing the black again. Even a metallic Fender. I did spray paint a Fender metallic as well. And I'll be dropping that on when we get some rain out there. I like that look. Okay, so we're cruising on. To be honest with you, this Pint is one of my kids. My one wheel Pint is blue with the pink handle, and I didn't feel like changing all the bumpers, so I hijacked one of my kids, and I forgot that it had Simple Stop on. And if you don't know what Simple Stop is, that's where you don't have reverse on the one wheel, because all one wheels have the ability to go in reverse, but one wheel Pint ship with the Simple Stop on. And what it is that you just begin to go backwards, and then instead of going backwards, it turns off and you can dismount, which is great for beginners or little people. I'm showing you right here because I'm about to get off the thing, get my phone out of my pocket, and switch the writing type and switch the Simple Stop off because I don't like the mode he had it in, and I don't like the Simple Stop. Some people do, and that's okay. But if you want to know, you can turn it off. It's a simple press of a button on the app. Here we are back on the Pint, and off we go. I do love that about One Wheels, is that you can customize your ride for the rider. So you can hop on somebody else's one wheel, get the app, and you're off to the races. And why would I change the style that I was riding? Because this was Greatness's, and he's 4 years old, and he rides this thing like a champ. But he's on the least aggressive riding style, and that meant I was experiencing pushback before I really wanted to. And so changing that has allowed me to get back to the riding I like. I like the aggressive riding. I like to be able to carve and things of that nature. Give me a good shot of my socks. Can we just give some love for Stance socks? If you have never worn a pair of Stance socks, you need to. They are awesome. Did you know this? That Stance socks are a lifetime guarantee? Can you argue with that? That means that they get a hole in them. You just write a message to Stance and say, hey, I got a hole in my sock, and they'll replace the sock. It's awesome. So you need to get a pair of Stance socks, okay? Just go to stance.com, unsponsored by them. I love their socks, and I've worn them for years. They go well with high water pants. Riding on a street that typically at lunchtime in the Twin Cities of Minnesota is slammed with traffic. Look at that. Just a few, for you watching this, you wouldn't feel it, right? Because you're not from here, but I just felt like I was stuck in a movie of it's an eerie feeling, an eerie vibe all over the place. Even sitting in my house when the president comes on, it just creates this eerie feeling. I don't know if you're like me, but and I can talk myself into being hopeful again that this won't last long, and those that I love and know won't be affected financially or with their job or their health. And then you watch some of these news reporters, and that hope dwindles a little bit, and you begin to lose hope, and you start to feel that stress coming over you, and you feel overwhelmed. Kind of like right now, coming up on this big brown dog. Have you ever done this? Rode by a dog going, I'm going to make a big Y. I mean, you just don't know what dogs are going to do. It's like there's two weaknesses Onewheels have: flights of steps and a dog. The dog runs in front of you while one-wheeling. It is not good. And if you see him from a distance, it can stress you out a little bit. And if you get stressed out, you lose the joy of the ride or the joy of life. Maybe some of you watching this you just need to get out and ride your one wheel. Maybe go in the basement and do circles, but do something that takes your mind and thoughts off of what is pretty dark times in the world at the moment, and put your eyes onto something else, something that would fill your bucket. If you got two buckets, one is hope and one is fear, think on the things that would give you hope, not the things that would give you fear. And I'm speaking to myself on this because throughout the day, my meter, my gauge, if it's a fuel tank, man, it moves towards full of hope and then moves past halfway because I have 8 kids, and I got parents that are older, and coming back to the eerie feeling, I just crossed the road in the Twin Cities, a 4-lane deal, without even having to press a button. I could just go across. It's just so crazy. Now, one thing I like to see that there aren't that many people around, because I'm not the only one that's self-quarantining myself. You ask yourself, what can I possibly do right now to help in the fight against an invisible enemy? And right now, it seems like quarantining myself, and then I set up meetings through an app, and we put 15 people in every hour, and we just talk to people and see how they're doing and meet face to face, but through digital capacities. We're calling them digital small groups, and we're just chatting with people how life's going. If you'd be interested in jumping in one of those conversations, and drop a comment down below just saying, hey, I'd love to get in one of those small groups, and we'll give a link out. To be honest with you, you can jump in at any point. If you just go to unlockchurch.com, there's links there starting this evening, just times you can jump into a go-to meeting and hang out and see some people that you might not know, talk about the good that's still happening, and talk about how life is for you and where you're at. And so if that's something you want to do, go to unlockchurch.com and look for the One Wheel small group, and we'll jump in there and we'll talk stuff about One Wheels, and we will talk about life. It won't be very long, and we'll just see what comes of it. Coming up to one of my favorite parts here in the Twin Cities, you come through the city, and then all of a sudden there's this little lake that you're just going over. It's a dock, and I love the rideability of the Pint, that it just goes right over it. And to my left, you can start to see the water starting to break up. It's a sign of spring, and a sign that I can start to fish for some crappie, put that on the dinner plate here soon. It really excites me as just going over. I love the sound of a one wheel on the dock as well, just the wheels. It's so nice. And I'm going to go up to, I was going to take you to a really cool part of the trail here, and forgetting that I don't have the fender on, I go off the path that is paved here, and I go into wet, soggy, sandy, muddy area, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not cool. And so I begin to turn around. As you can see the terrain turning as the wheel gets wetter here. I'm like, okay, far enough. I forgot that it had rained all day yesterday, and these paths would be a little less loving on my socks and my shoes. So we're out. One of the disadvantages is going to a delete, I guess, instead of a fender. But I prefer the look of no fender on all my one wheels. If I could ride all the time like this is how I would choose to. I just think this is the way One Wheel must have made it to look. Like the fender, I think, is just a thought of like, oh yeah, we don't want our feet trashed. But I just love the look of this. I just do. What way do you love your one wheel? Do you love it with the fender on or off? And if you're choosing a fender, what fender would you choose? I really like the Fender's One Wheel puts out. For the XR, I really enjoy the carbon fiber one. I know it's a little bit pricier. I do like the look of it. And as we say hello to our geese. Geese are returning here, which is so positive. Hello, geese. It's funny. Nature has no idea what humanity is battling right now, right? They're just doing what they do every year, migrating north. And sometimes, even on this ride, I was thinking about that. I wish I was like that. I didn't know what was happening in the media in the world, that I was blind to it or maybe naive, but I'm not. So therefore, I have to do my best to keep putting my thoughts into great things, things that bring hope. And sometimes it is just a great self-isolating one-wheel ride out there. It allows you to clear your mind and think about other things and to fill your hope bucket up a little bit more. The Pint, if you're wondering, okay, how's it handle? You can see my feet bouncing back and forth. It handles terrain well. It handles off-roading stuff so well. The tire is pumped up all the way it's supposed to, and you just got to be able to ride those bumps and those divots in the path here. I'm about to pass a kid that is probably like me, who's tired of being isolated in quarantine. He gave a good wave, and then he shouts, "What is that hoverboard?" And I did not. I just didn't think about it until I had passed. I should have said, "It's a one wheel." I just kept riding. I saw the parents over there, and you just don't know how everybody's handling the social distancing and stuff, and I didn't want to offend somebody, so I just gave a good wave and kept riding. I didn't want moms to get into the mom bear moment and what are you doing? Just kept riding. I think some of my fears or thoughts that steal my hope is like where humanity sometimes it at its worst, right? Where we had a stabbing here in the Twin Cities the other day over toilet paper, and I'm just like, what? Like it's toilet paper. Like I just don't understand the problem with toilet. It's like, man, like if I run out of toilet paper, I'm gonna use I can use a washcloth and wash that. Like I just don't see like if I'm hoarding something, it's not gonna be toilet paper. I can tell you that right now. But to see that's where we've come, is that people are willing to stab for toilet paper. Just those are the things that breaks my heart about humanity. But humanity is capable of doing that. I also think humanity is far greater at loving, far greater at the positive things. To see people coming together, we have friends. As I'm recording the voiceover, taking food to people and toilet paper to families that can't get out, are too afraid to get out, and running low on supplies, so they're doing a drive-by, going to drop it on their front porch and drive on. I think humanity's capacity of love is far greater than hate, though media tends to gravitate to the negative instead of the positive, and therefore steals our hope. The stories of people meeting, it changes the game. We always on this channel are asking, what does love require you to do? And we're trying to figure that out around here in Minnesota as we ride around. And I was going to drop off this curb, and then I realized, don't have enough speed to make that, and it was going to be disastrous. So I just bailed. I don't know if you've ever done that on your one wheel. You're just like, I'm not going to make that jump. I'm just going to get off. And off we go again. The ground is still frozen here, so it's hard, but wet at the same time. I think last year the ground thawed in June. By June, we had a thawed ground. We'll see what happens here. It's the tundra of Minnesota, so You never know. Tonight it's supposed to be down at 8 degrees. That's well below freezing. And so all of the water that's on the surface is going to be nice, hard ice in the morning. And so it'll just make interesting things in the morning when I go for my morning run. And yeah, what I was saying earlier, one of the things I love about Onewheel, if you're still watching here, I love that Onewheel is still trying to make life a little bit more rad, and they are trying to make you smile, and the vibe they put off is I can get behind that. I want to make people smile. If you haven't seen some of our videos released recently from us one-wheeling in hamster wheels for social distancing or jousting, we're simply just trying to make people smile and forget the worries of the world, and trying to make the world just a little bit better of a place through video. Even this, just trying to take your mind off it, share thoughts of what's it like in Minnesota right now, and how are we handling it. And we are trying to do our best to help people through it, and some of the way is just meeting with people digitally so people can talk and share their concerns. We were in a digital small group this morning at 9 a.m. and somebody jumped in from Washington State, and we asked how they're doing. They immediately said, "I'm scared." And you know what? We said it's okay to be afraid. We don't want to react out of fear, but it's okay. If you're feeling afraid, it's okay. Just move past that quickly. I once heard that the opposite or the antidote for fear is love. So if you want to feel less afraid, figure out how to love more. That's the antidote. And so loving people, your neighbors, that's why we're so big on it. What does love require you to do? Because it takes away from your fears. Have I mentioned that I really like that golden delete? Just that. My kids wanted me to paint the bumpers as well, and I was just like, no, I think just a little bit of gold on there, a little bling, makes it look really sharp. Onewheel, please make metallic fenders and deletes. I think, well, at least you have one person that would buy it. I just think that looks so good. So good. And if you were choosing one color to have on your Onewheel, what color would that be? Leave a comment down below. And that said, if there's other things you want to talk about, would you leave comments down below? Tell us how's life where you live. Are you self-quarantining? How are you social distancing? What are you doing in such a time as this? And if you need anything, need some help, let us know. We really want to help you right where you are. And sometimes I think just videos like this that you can just watch and share the stoke with somebody. Like, I'm watching this and I'm like, I'm ready to go back out and ride again and make another one of these videos. It's just so much fun. Just get out, see what's going on, breathe fresh air, get some sunlight on me. Well, my entire body was covered, and so I wasn't really soaking any sun rays in, to be honest with you. But just to be out there riding, and it raises the stoke level. And so if you find yourself quarantined, not feeling well, need a little bit of hope, let me just wrap up with a couple words that hopefully give you some hope. I do think the best days are still ahead of us, that this will pass, that it is a short amount of time. It's when we look back in a year from now, it's going to be all right. We're going to get through this. Humanity will be better for it. Just in the middle of it, it's hard to see that. And I hope that this finds you doing well. I don't want any bad to come to you. And I really love to see how people are coming together on this. And if you know somebody that's losing hope and they're freaking out, would they learn from you how to fill up their hope bucket versus their fear? And maybe it's simply tell them to watch this and listen to what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe I'm way off, but may we fix our attention on things that give us hope instead of fixing our attention on things that rob our hope. that's the hopes. I guess I'm saying is fix our eyes on things that give us hope. Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye.